Please be advised that the following video is not safe for work.
Alright, so we are doing our Christmas episode.
Yay!
What are we?
Happy holidays!
Happy Christmas or holidays or whatever it is, you give people shit, basically. Is that time?
You pretend you
Meal
care.
the
You
shit.
pretend you care.
You give things.
You give things. So
You drink the coffee and the Bailey.
yes, yeah.
The eggnog and the rum.
I'd just go for straight liquor.
Right? I was going to say, I don't like eggnog.
Homemade
Yeah.
liquor in a
Homemade.
jar.
Yeah, exactly. Rubber balls and liquor. That's what makes Christmas.
Do you like eggnog?
I don't like eggnog, no.
Do you like eggnog?
No.
I don't like eggnog either.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just take the rum.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let us know in the comments if you
Yeah,
like eggnog.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
So, but we know that there's a lot of cosplayers out there, and we know that their families pretend
Don't
to
know
care.
what they-
Pretend to care and don't know what to get them. So we've kind of compiled a list. So if you're a cosplayer, all you got to do is like sit family members down and like tell them, okay, I want item number 4.
Or you sit them down and tell them to watch this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then say, any one of those things is good.
Yeah, and you know, so we're here to help you out. We're your friends.
We love you.
We love you.
We're looking out for you.
Who's shaking out? So we've kind of compiled like a top 10 list for cosplayers of what they would want for Christmas. So,
What
all right,
we think would be
what
ideal.
we
gifts.
think would be ideal. So.
Like things we cannot live without.
Exactly. So, all right, you're up, Colin.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay,
Okay.
so my first thing is something called a scrap-a-ma-bob.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a scrap-a-ma-bob.
A thing of
Scrap-a-ma-bob.
A
And in fact,
thingamabob.
when we were discussing this earlier, what did you guys say? What the hell's a scrap-a-ma-bob?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We were like, what the hell?
Okay,
And then I realized I have one.
These are the
So-
best inventions ever.
They are. Yeah.
So
Lefty
this,
loosey, righty
Tighty.
tighty.
yeah. Okay, I just had to untighten it. So this is a scrap-a-ma-bob. Oh. So you'll note that this is like a little wastebasket. I have my little fabric scraps, and I have, you know, little bits of like thread and stuff in there. And then this is a cup holder. So you just attach this right onto your workstation, whether that be sewing or, you know, like a heat area or whatever, painting area, and then you attach it, and then that way you never have to worry about your coffee or your water or your liquor.
Yeah, I'm terrible for that. I was
yeah.
like, and paint cup and coffee cup
Oh, how many
are not
times
the
have you,
same thing.
Yeah, how many times have you drank the water cup?
Right.
Way too many times.
Yeah. So basically this like bolts onto the table. I'm getting it there. I had to lefty loosey and I'm ready tidying it. And
Yeah,
then-
you are.
Yeah, I am. And it doesn't seem to want to go where I want it to go today
That way.
because, you know,
That
why?
way.
Because we're demoing. So when I get it hooked back up here, I'm going to just place my little coffee in there.
Watch it
And
fall
then
off.
we're gonna get back to work.
Yeah.
So that's what this does, and it's amazing because then if you're working with like your serge or whatever, you can just take the serge thread and throw them in there, and then just empty the bin. My plan is to eventually make a different bag for it so that it's more like geek themed.
I
as opposed
line mine with like grocery bags. With, like,
Oh,
little
that's
plastic
smart
bags,
too.
and
I
then
just flip it, but yeah.
and just throw it out when it's full. So it's
Yeah.
just easy.
Smart.
Perfect. So it's a
Stop
really,
being
really
smart.
awesome
Stop.
invention and tool, and I discovered it at a retreat, sewing
Scrap-a
retreat.
retreat?
Yeah.
So it's called the
sewing-
Scrap-a-ma-bob.
Scrap-a-ma-bob.
Yes.
We'll put a link to it down
Yes.
below.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yes, it's made by the same company that make those like amazing cabinets for crafters.
Oh, those
yeah.
people. Those obnoxious cabinet people, those ones, those, you hate them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate those
Where like the
bastards.
desks pull out and it's got
Yeah,
storage
the ones
for
that
everything.
And
everybody's
like
They make
jealous
those-
angels sing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So they make the
Bastards.
cabinets and the scrap-a-bob.
And the scrap them up. Yay. Okay.
All right. Well,
Your turn.
yeah. So everybody knows that I make lots of props and things like that. I work a lot with pink foam. We've talked about pink foam quite a bit. I would say that the hot wire foam tools are really good to have. So like this sword was made with them. There's a couple different ones. What's this one called? I never call it the right name.
I have no idea.
I just called it a
The
sculptor.
best tool ever.
Yeah,
the
'cause-
sculpting tool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can either extend this wire to be wider or you can shorten it to cut more narrow things. I like it. It turns on, you let it heat up for a bit. I'm not wearing a mask. Don't not wear a mask.
Yes. Don't wear a mask.
Yeah.
Don't do what I do.
Toxic
As-
fumes.
As toxic fumes.
But it's super simple and a lot of people don't understand. They use like X-Acto knives and stuff to cut pink foam and this is way easier. So I'll see. So satisfying.
It is.
It is.
It's a
actually.
satisfying. You want to go slow, but it's really cool too because they make like wire tensionators for it too, so you can make your wire
Yeah.
tighter if that's how you prefer.
Yeah. So
We all like it
if
tighter.
you like it
I
tighter,
like it tighter.
see,
If
let's
you like
see.
it tighter. And the metal arms can actually move,
Yes,
right?
they do stretch and stuff. That's why I have my fingers holding it the way I do. You don't have a hot knife in here though.
No, because the hot knives keep breaking on me.
Breaking.
'cause
Those are the
I'm
only
not
ones.
patient.
I did like the
was fun.
tabletop
Oh
one
yeah, the
because
table stuff.
I'm not a hot wire crafty person, but for using this was amazing. If you don't have like mad skills,
And
like
the cool
Ashley,
thing about the
it's
table
really
is you
cool.
can actually move the arm to the angle that you want.
Yeah, which was really good.
Unfortunately, Kilo 1-4 still has my table. I'm looking at you. I want it back soon. When you organize your garage.
Hey Jen,
Yeah.
I made you something special.
Did you make me something special?
Oh,
Yeah.
I got it. Keeping with
Just
the
the
theme.
tip.
But yeah, so, and the cool thing is too, is once you do shut these off, they do cool down quite quickly, so you're not concerned about burning yourself.
Right.
Another one
And
that's
it is
really
just
good.
the wire that gets hot, not
Absolutely.
the actual arms. See how the arms pivot? So
Yeah.
cool.
So then there's this one, which is attached. Jeez, tell it's not mine.
Yeah.
I live in organized chaos. What can I
Yeah.
say?
Okay. So I'm not even trying anymore.
Yeah.
So this one here is like the engraving tool. So it has like a really nice tip on it. This one I find doesn't heat up as fast. So take your time and be patient, which I am not patient. But I did make it work for Farah's Maui hook. All of her engraved pieces are done with this tool. It does save you a lot of time trying to like get in all the nooks and crannies. So this one's fabulous. The hot knife is not my favorite, even though you don't have it here.
Me neither.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's a very thin piece of metal, and every time that you try and cut through something like this, it always bends.
Yeah.
So that's not ideal. However, these two are my favorite, and I would say that anybody who does crafts or props, honestly, stop using utility knives and get one of these.
Agreed. Concurred. I saw that.
Yeah.
Are you playing with penis?
I'm playing with your pink penis.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. That's what happens in the world.
So what's one of yours?
Okay, my thing, and you can get any type that you want. Really, there's a whole bunch of them out there. My thing is rulers.
Shocking! The sewing Nazi.
Sewing Nazi has rulers. But I think if you're a sewer, you're gonna want something called a French curve. You can see that mine are beaten to hell.
I'm French. I'm curvy.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
welcome.
You're welcome. I'm Ukrainian. I'm kind of curvy. But if you're a sewer, you're gonna want something like the French curves. They're really, really handy. Or the flexible ruler. So not only does it flex this way, but you can also make it flex like.
I need that in
yeah.
my life.
I know. It's
She let
awesome.
me use that when you were helping me with the bunny suit,
Mhm.
and I need one in my life. Yeah, it's
right?
way easier.
Jen, when she gives gifts, it's usually rulers.
Ask
me how I know.
Yeah, exactly. Because I gave you all these guys.
And we got French curves. I think
Yeah.
after the
Yeah.
expo, I opened up my bag. I'm like, Jen, did you find me a present?
I brought you French curves.
Yes.
This one's really, really handy if you're a sewer because if you follow like a pattern and your pattern piece curves, and then you like trace around it, it's a true 1/2 inch, so it will add on your seam allowance without having to really fight with it. But
now I need one.
I know now you. Okay, all right, Santa.
Can you make it into a penis?
Can you make it into a penis? Yes, you can. You can also make it into. This is my favorite.
Is it a heart? What do you make? What do you make?
Oops. Yeah, that's where we're going. But if you're not a sewer, or if you are a sewer and you want an extra one, this is actually one of my favorites to get. You do have to go to a sewing store to get it, or to like a craft store. It's usually in the quilting department because it's called a quilting roller. This is actually by a company called OmniGrid. It's a 6-inch by 24-inch ruler. It becomes your best friend because you can use it for craft foam, you can use it for the pink foam, you can use it for the EVA foam. It's got a nice, the ruler is actually very, very rigid, so you can put like an X-Acto knife along the edge and get a nice, straight, sharp edge. And the beautiful part is because you can see through it, you can see your work underneath it, so you don't cut anything that you don't want to. Aside from using it from crafting, we use it for like home repairs all the time. Like hanging pictures and all sorts of stuff.
Though.
Yeah, it's actually one of the best rollers you can possibly get. So, but there you go. All right, who's up next?
I got the hiccups.
You got the hiccups.
She's got the hiccups, so is it me who's up
Yeah,
next?
yes.
Okay, foamwork tools.
I'm excited about
that's
this.
what
I've never seen them actually.
I'm gonna talk about here. So I need another piece of foam because that's actually in the instructions.
To use two pieces?
So these are foam works.
Okay.
So these were actually designed for, like, foam mats, like for picture framing. But then, of course, cosplayers got a hold of it because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And we bastardize everything, and then we make it our own, and it's awesome. So this one is the straight cutter. So you just it'll cut like a straight strip. So you just, can you see that?
Bring it closer to you.
Closer to me. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, had to ask the camera guy. Okay, so then you just like push it down, and then it just cuts a straight line out for you.
Holy crap, holies!
I can't do anything straight.
Well,
Yeah, I know you can.
we know that. So then you just,
helpful.
ta-da!
Oh, that's
And
there's
where
a-
was this when I was making pony helmets?
Well, it was in my basement the whole time. They make several different kinds. So there's like a freehand cutter, so you can just like, I keep mine all stored in the baggies that they belong to. That way I don't cut myself. And the cool thing is they have this like really neat, like little compartment where you store the blades. So if you can,
Oh, that's handy.
yeah, right.
Oh, that's
So
neat.
you just put your extra blades in there, and then you open it up and see the blades are inside. So then you never have to worry about where your blades are. Again, when you're working with EVA foam, it does stiff. That's so stiff, I can't get it back in. Of course, the blades do dull quickly, so they do sell replacement blades, and they're quite cheap. This one is a bevel cutter, so for those of you who are cutting on bevels.
Is that the bevel edge?
Yes.
Oh, man.
You can see the angles of the bevel edge there. They do make a V cutter as well, which unfortunately I don't have, but I would like to get. And then it'll cut like the thicker EVA on a V, so you know, for your
Yeah, the
edging
bordering
and stuff, for borders and stuff. And then this one is my absolute favorite, is the circle cutter. So the inside is like, you can pick the diameter of circle, that's the smallest, and then you can go to the largest. So I'm going to put it at like, let's go with like a 3-inch diameter circle.
Okay.
And then you set it down wherever you want to create your circle. And then you just spin, 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 spin.
Oh.
And then, ta-da!
Is it wrong that I'm irritated?
Why are you irritated? Look at
Because
my
of why
perfect
it's
circle.
not been in my life like
I
earlier.
think
What was
actually
that?
this circle might be the perfect size to make Ochaka's belt. So I'm just going to set that aside for now.
Yeah, look at
Yeah,
you.
look
like,
at me.
thinking.
Ta-da! And look, I have all these perfect straight strips. So yeah, so this is like, it's so time saving. And like when I made Jubilee, I used this to make the earrings and
The X-Men symbol.
the X-Men symbol and stuff, because you need a perfect circle.
Yeah.
So, and it creates a perfect circle every time, so you're not like struggling with your
Yeah.
X-Acto knife, because typically we cut EVA with
Everything.
X-Acto knives. So I prefer this because I like that I...
Precision.
Yeah, I'm not good with an X-Acto knife, to
Well,
be
and the other
honest.
thing is honestly, anybody who's worked with foam, you do go through a lot of blades. So make sure you always have extra blades on hand. A sharper blade is way better than a dull one because
And
you'll
I
end up
think
ripping your foam.
These have 15-pack replacements. Actually, Mr. Cameraman, Consolidated Geek, if you just look over there, there is replacement packages. I think they come in either
That's not a
5...
ball gag.
I was going to say something.
Perfect. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, so they either come in 20 packs or 5 packs.
Oh, even
And
better.
they're really like reasonable, really like $6 for 5 or 20. And I actually have not replaced the blades in either of these, and I've used them a lot. They tend to stay sharper longer because they are actually designed for
To
cutting
cut,
foam board.
yeah.
So they tend to
Nice.
stay sharp for a long time. So
Nice.
yes, these are definitely on my must-have for. And now I'm gonna wind it back up, which was driving you crazy earlier.
Yeah.
My little
It's the squeak.
winding. Yeah, it's not there. It doesn't squeak when I go faster.
Yeah.
All right, so that's definitely
That's what she said.
the foam work.
Anyway.
I squeak louder when you go faster. The foam works tools are definitely on my must-have list.
Awesome.
Okay, well, again, I seem to be doing a lot of prop things.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Why would I be doing prop
Why is
things?
that?
Okay, so again, I work with a lot of thermoplastics and things like that. So I would say a heat gun would be ideal. This works for Warbler thermoplastics as well as foam and things like that. Get a good one. Honestly, spend the money because they do wear out. Like I wore out 2 heat guns in the past year and a half.
What's a good price range for like heat guns?
That would be on her end.
Well, I think
I'm
you can
cheap.
get a
Yeah.
decent one for like $15 to $20. One like this is more around the $60
Yeah.
range. If you see, like I've got all like the actual temperature.
Yeah, and this one only
gauges.
has high, low, and
Right.
off.
And I can put it on high air, low air, cool
Yeah.
air. I can gauge which temperature it's at. There's even fancier ones.
Yeah.
I think I bought you a pretty fancy one
Yeah.
for your birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I burnt mine out.
Yeah,
again.
so she needed one. I was like, you're a cosplayer. You cannot not go without a heat gun.
Yeah, so
So-
I would say definitely if you're a beginner, you don't have to go over the top
No.
and get a pricey
But
one.
you will want a
but you
fancier
will.
one as you go. So this one's a little
Absolutely.
bit. So that would be like low end,
Yes,
and this would be like
and that would be
higher
high
end.
end.
So you'll find them. Ironically, you find these in the paint section.
Yeah,
it's a strip
and you
paint.
can find them at like Princess Auto, Home Depot.
And they do make stands to hold them into, which are
Yes.
brilliant.
Yeah.
But they also stand up on their
Yeah.
own when you put them like this. For some reason, that was like life altering for me when I found that out.
Really?
I was
Yeah.
like, what?
That's funny.
Yeah, because I would always throw it on the cement floor.
Yeah, so you
because
didn't
I
burn
was
yourself.
like, I didn't want to turn it off because I was
Yeah.
lazy. But then someone's like, oh, you can just
You can just
I'm like,
stand it.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So yeah, they do
remember-
stand up like that.
I'm gonna say this because she didn't well, it's her thing and it's not my thing. But working with heat guns, another thing good to have is heat gloves
Yeah.
if you want them.
She
I
never
don't-
uses them.
I don't
I
use
love them.
them.
I'm like
Yeah.
a baby
Some
when it
people
comes
don't
to
like
heat on my
fingerprints.
hands.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah. But no, I would say definitely a heat gun would be something to look into, especially if you're gonna do a lot of building of anything. You can use it for foam. You can use it for thermoplastics. You can use it for the Warbler Deco Art beads. You can use them for a lot of things. So definitely top the list.
Yeah.
It's gonna like fall on me, I swear.
All right, my turn.
Yeah.
Okay, once again, I've got a grouping of them. Scissors. You cannot.
She looks like Anne
have. I know. It's Jen Scissorhands. Those out there. You cannot have enough scissors that you could possibly get for a cosplayer. And there are different types of ones, of course, for paper, and for fabric. Very, very important that you
Do not use
Yeah.
fabric scissors on paper.
Yeah.
I actually
paper
write on
scissors.
mine with a Sharpie fabric only.
Yeah, I have mine marked usually with like a piece of tape around the handle, so people don't use them. So
She just glared at us.
I just, yeah, it's one of those. Don't touch my scissors.
Whatever she thinks we did, we didn't.
Wasn't
do.
You didn't do. Now I'm glaring at the cameraman.
Oh,
He just nods. It's like,
He's
yeah,
just nods.
That's not
Looks
fault.
trimmed the flowers with them one day.
Yeah, it's not pretty. But there's a whole bunch of different types of scissors that are out there. So if you've got a cosplayer or you are a cosplayer who like mostly cuts with paper, you're going to want a good pair that does paper. If you mostly work with fabric and you're a sewer, you want to get a good pair to like work with sewers, and it's you want to really invest in like a pair of these. So like a good pair of sewing scissors is going to run you about $50-$60 pretty easily. Or you wait for the sales.
Yeah. If you wait at Fabricland, you can get like decent scissors.
Fabricland or Joann's will have them as well. These are actually, if you're a beginner sewer, these are, I don't know if you can see them, hopefully you can kind of zoom in on them. They're called pinking shears. They have like a zigzag sort of cutting effect. They are fabric scissors. They're not like paper craft scissors.
They're not scrapbooking scissors?
They're not scrapbooking scissors. You will not find these in the scrapbooking section at the craft store. If you're a beginner sewer and you're like looking to get into competitions but you're not quite sure about your sewing skills, this is a perfectly good way of finishing off your seams for sewing. You always need a variety of scissors. Little tiny snippers are great for getting into little tiny areas.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. You can get specialty scissors if you're working with like leather and you need like trimming. These are called applique scissors. They have like a lip on there so they get really, really close up to your fabric without cutting the fabric that's
Looks
underneath
like a
them.
pelican.
It does look like a pelican. They're one of my favorite scissors. And of course, you cannot live without a pair of snips to like snip your threads, get in there really, really closely.
Oh, for that, I was like,
we know judges judge that, right?
Right, Jen?
Only
Judgy Jen.
Jen. I'm not that mean.
Judgy Jen.
Judgy Jen.
Judgy Jen.
That's sewing Nazi to you, bitch. Anyways, that's my suggestion. Treat your cosplayer right. Get them a really good set of scissors. There you go.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm up next again. Okay.
Which is strangely enough, this is not the one that I've picked.
I know. I was
This is-
actually shocked.
Well,
I know.
I was gonna pick
So
it.
my top pick, I guess it would be. Is this
Yeah,
what-
this is we're getting
my
into
top pick is my sewing machine. So I sew on. It's called a FAF, and it is beautiful because it has an integrated walking foot, which there's lots of videos out there as to why walking foots are super awesome and important. But I actually started out on an IKEA sewing machine.
Oh, mine was a Walmart one.
I know. I took yours to be repaired. It was terrible. It wasn't even worth the money to be repaired.
Right?
So I started on this IKEA sewing machine, and then there's this little sewing shop in Fort Saskatchewan. And when my IKEA sewing machine was being nasty, I went up there, and she's like, "Well, what are you doing with your sewing machine?" So I started to tell her, like, "Oh, I made an Ewok costume, and I made this costume, and I made a Jedi costume." She was like, "With an IKEA sewing machine?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Surprised you
She's
didn't
like, "You know,
first."
those are designed to hem curtains, and that's it." And I was like, "Oh, well, I didn't know." And she's like, "You need something much better." So then she sold me something called a FAF Smarter, which is their beginner level machine. And I loved it, and it was a good machine, right? We used the heck out of it. But then I wanted more. So I'm going to give a big shout out to Katasha's Costumes because she gave me some really good advice. She's like, buy a sewing machine that scares you, and then when it doesn't scare you anymore, buy a one that's bigger and more scary. And so I
use
bought,
that same rule with a lot of other things.
right? It just works out really well. But this one, this one scares me a lot because it has all these little fancy things, and it's an amazing machine. And I've really only used about 5 stitches on it so far, but it has literally been nonstop. It actually looks like it's old because it's literally been nonstop since I got it. I love to sew.
I actually bought the exact same
one after she sewed on mine, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is the anniversary edition of the Ambition, I believe, and so it has a very special price. But again, another huge shout out to Country Knits in Fort Saskatchewan. They are like this little amazing sewing shop that nobody knows about because they're like not online because she has dial-up internet and dial-up
the chip in her
debit
computer
machine.
is a Dorito.
Yeah, it's really sad, but she sells FAFs. She's an authorized FAF dealer, and she also has the cheapest price on sewing machine maintenance and repairs, which is super important. Once a year, you need to take your machine in.
Yeah.
I lecture people on that, and I'm not even like a seasoned seamstress.
Yeah.
But she
I have a frequent
gives.
shopping cart.
If you mention our show, Cosplay After Hours, and you say that we sent you, she has a deal where she has been in business for, it's like 35 years. So if you say, oh, cosplay after hours, she will give you 35% off your sewing machine.
How fantastic is that? So seriously,
So
Yeah.
invest in
Jump
a good
on it.
machine, and if you talk to any cosplayer that owns a FAF, they will be like, buy a FAF.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all just think they're amazing, and it's got some really cool features that
I'm gonna laugh. She's gonna like.
She's going like,
No, look, I
Free
did
arm
not. Okay, so this is the little, the free arm, the storage bin. But see in here, this is where all your bobbins go, and then there's another row of bobbins, and then there's more storage underneath, so you can put things in there. I never do.
never do.
Sometimes I put thread in there if I'm traveling with it. But here's all your tools on the other side, so you've got 2 bins instead of just 1, so that's super awesome.
I love how quiet it is.
It's so quiet, yeah. It's actually, I love it so much. Like I can't even talk enough about it. The only complaint I have is the cutting arm on the side. I don't like it. But that's personal.
Yeah.
It's a personal thing. But even there's like a bobbin thread cutter up
Yeah,
here,
that
which is quite handy. You never think you need it till you don't. It's like heated seats in a
So
car.
in other words, we will have to do a whole segment on just sewing
On just
machines.
sewing machines.
And
Yeah.
I think
Beginner to.
I think that's our plan is we will definitely head out to Country Knits in Fort Saskatchewan and kind of go through the sewing machines that she has there, from like her beginner ones, the smarters, to all the way up to her. She has like $14,000 sewing
Yeah,
machines.
so
in
this
there.
is like an intermediate sewing machine that
Yeah.
you really have. So, but it's a really good one a place to start off because of the walking foot and the special design to the bobbin area too. It's meant to handle everything from like really lightweight stuff to really heavyweight stuff. It will do leather. It will do denim. It will do the stuff that cosplayers that nobody else sews.
Yeah.
Because we're crazy.
We're crazy.
Right.
And
Well, and every time we go in there, she's like, so what are you working on? And you tell her, and she's like, her eyeballs. And
Yeah.
she's like,
So
no
looks like
wonder you
for
bring
the
a
Mars-
sewing machine in for repairs every month. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, of course, because we're doing things. Like the one I brought in for Katasha's costumes, her plate was actually bent in.
Yeah.
And they were like, how does that even happen? And so I take it back to her. I'm like, your plate was bent. Look, they sent the plate back because they're so shocked by it. And she's like, oh, that's why I wasn't sewing very well.
yeah.
This is the stuff we do.
We're pretty hardcore when it comes
Yeah.
to sewing machines.
So you want a machine that keeps up with it, and
Yes.
FAF has been around for a long, long time. And even if you don't get a new FAF, a used FAF, I started off with a FAF that was probably about 20 years old when I got it, and that thing lasted for like 10 years. And that had a walking foot, and the walking foot that's built in is pretty much their proprietary thing. That's
Nice.
what they do. So it's actually very, very beneficial. So it's a great machine.
Nice. Well,
Okay.
talking about machines.
It's talking about workhorses. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I would say a glue gun.
Like
Honestly,
a good glue gun. 'Cause
yes.
There's different ones out.
so Dollar Store does have glue guns. They are not worth it. Not worth it at all. You can get, there's a whole amount, like huge amount of different glue guns. This one is fantastic. It's not mine, unfortunately. I may steal it. But it does have an on-off switch, so you can plug it in and you can shut it off and turn it on and all that other things. You can also, like right now, this has fabric glue in it, so you can actually glue fabric together, which, as a cosplayer, traveling and things like that, when you go to a con, you always want to pack a glue gun. You want to make sure you have all of the glue sticks and things like that, because if something breaks, this is a quick fix, but a good fix.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you invest in a really good glue gun.
Yes.
That would be my thing.
So once again,
sorry, because I was using it.
And I'm
the
like,
other day.
why am I got glue strings on
Another
me?
really good friend of ours, Odin's Keepers Cosplay, she has a paralyzed hand, and she actually uses the fabric glue in this glue gun, this same model, or it's hers though, to put together her cosplays because she is not
can't
capable of
sew.
sewing.
Yeah.
So
So honestly, it is definitely something that all crafting people need, cosplayers especially.
and a good one.
Yeah.
I think you can change the size of the nozzles on that one.
On
too.
this one,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
they come with
You-
different tips.
Yeah, you can just the tip.
Just
just
what can I say?
That's what
that
you
seems
can
to
say.
be
So-
the Christmas motto.
So yeah, just the tip.
Naming my sex tape.
Yeah, the name of your sex tape. That's true. Yeah, so but a good glue gun should still run you about at least $20-$30 easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one's a $30 one.
Yeah,
I
they're
should
not
say.
crazy expensive, and I mean the packs of glue that you can get some that have like 100 glue sticks and stuff for like $12.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And
honestly, always.
I have
Amazon
another
is
one
like
that's either
10
corded
pounds
or
of them.
cordless, and I love that too. It's
Oh,
like cordless
yeah.
for about 5 minutes, so you can like and like do some work on further areas where the cord doesn't reach, which sounds really lame, but it really works.
Everybody who's glued their cord into their cosplay raise their hand.
The cord into the what?
Into your
Cosplay.
cosplay. Have you glued your clothes?
Never.
Never? You've never glued the
Just
the
gluing
cord
away,
in,
not paying
losing
attention,
and
yeah.
Your cord gets
No.
caught in your...
No.
All right,
She's more
I
alert.
work a lot. Yeah, I don't work as much with like glue guns as I do with like barge and like contact cements or even styro goo. So maybe that's why.
Maybe, yeah.
'Cause y'all are crazy.
I use hot glue in a lot of things. Like even my armor builds, if I'm making something that's detailed, I use craft foam first and I hot glue all of my details on, and then I cover it with thermoplastic. So I mean, I use a hot glue gun all the time.
And I gotta say that as a sewer, the fabric glue sticks are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
They really are.
They really do. So, but just don't like confuse your glue sticks when you've got.
Well, the nice thing about the fabric ones is they're actually kind of
Milky.
Well, yeah, actually,
Yeah,
I think those ones are
That
heavy
sounds
duty ones.
Terrible.
Those ones are heavy duty ones.
Look
I
at my
think
milky stick.
That one's a heavy duty glue stick because I was gluing paper shoes together.
Would you like me to?
The fabric ones are actually white.
Are they?
Yeah, they're like a yellowy
yeah,
white.
they're like
yeah. That one's heavy duty.
Yeah.
So heavy duty is milky, fabric is white,
Yeah.
regular is clear.
Oh, and Mod Podge has the moldable glue sticks.
They
that
do,
you
and I
dip-
actually use those
Yeah.
for
really
our ninjettis, our Power Ranger ninjettis. I had to make new
Right.
gems,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I use the Mod Podge
Mod
in
Podge
the
ones,
yeah.
jewel
The
ones.
thing to know about those is they are not sticky, so
No.
don't think
Yeah.
of them as glue. They are more like plastic
Yeah.
that heats up really quickly and then
It cures.
and Mod
so-
Podge actually makes a really cool glue gun too because it's not like a gun, it's like a stick and
Yeah.
you just
Yeah,
squeeze
It's
it.
like a
It's like-
pen.
yeah.
The
It's
only
Embosser.
thing with
It's
that
like an
one,
embosser.
the only thing with that one is it really leaks out of the
Yeah,
tip.
it doesn't.
I even said it.
You have to hold it like this,
Once again,
but it
you have
really
to hold
leaks
it like
out.
this and
We've
it
gone back
leaks
to
out of the
leaky
tip
tip.
all over the table.
That was not me.
It was me, which it never normally is.
Sure.
Oh.
As she hides her face with her ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Puts her balls in her face.
All right.
Anyways.
So what's your next one?
My last one, I guess, before or my big one that I think everybody cosplayers
big
really,
one.
really needs. My big one is an iron.
I'd laugh if that was hot. Oh my god.
An iron. Yeah, I've tested it. Don't worry. I am very, very klutzy, so I am completely out there. So, an iron. Cosplayers, for the love of Pete, when you show up at a cosplay contest and your cosplay costume is not ironed,
She gets a little mad.
I get a little mad. The anger starts.
She gets so mad.
I get so angry. So, for little, because it really, you know what? Nothing bothers judges like seeing first you have glue gun strands.
Yes.
And then the second thing is a costume that looks amazing, but it's not ironed.
It's wrinkled. and
It's
thrown in a
wrinkled.
corner.
You know, you slept in it the night before, or something along those lines.
Don't
And
judge me.
Don't judge you. But
Politely.
yeah, exactly.
I
And
was
even
throwing my
if you,
outfit on while I was wearing it.
yeah, and even if you don't iron, like you're not really proficient at it, there's ones out there. This is actually one by Tefal. I give irons regularly as gifts because I'm obnoxious that way. My hat's falling off.
She's like, I'm over
it. I'm over it. The anger iron has made me throw it off. Anyways, this is one that's by Tefal. It's Teflon coated. It's really nice. The temperature controls varies really, really well. It has a little spray mister so that, you know, if somebody gets annoying, you can just get them with it.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Oh yeah, okay. Oh, my hair.
Now we're all
I was
moist.
waiting for the perfect opportunity, and that was it.
And now
Okay.
we're all moist.
And now
Thanks.
we're all moist. Okay.
So I have a story. So that iron that Jenna is showing you was my birthday gift, along with the two things you see there. So it's not just the iron. What else needs to go with the lovely
You
iron?
need to have distilled water that goes with your iron.
And actually distilled water, not a water bottle labeled with it.
Dude,
That's
yeah,
tap water.
That's tap water. I can
did
smell
that
the difference.
sometimes just to like confuse her.
Yeah, we do. I'm like, this don't smell like distilled water. Somebody's been drinking.
so
it.
Winnipeg.
That is so Winnipeg.
Judgy Jen.
It's Judgy Jen. But distilled water, very, very important for a couple of reasons. First of, it prolongs the life of your iron. You don't get calcification inside of here, so that means the chamber heats up. That's one. Number two, when you're ironing, you never get rust stains because it never makes rust inside of your iron. and you won't get water stains on your fabric and have to like call me at 3 o'clock in the morning asking me how do you get water stains out of your costume. No, I'm not looking at any of you two. You guys
I don't
didn't
call
do it.
anyone
There's
at 3
somebody
in the
else.
morning.
Not yet.
Um,
Wait for it.
Third thing for distilled water, it actually keeps your press in your fabric longer. It keeps the seams nice and pressed and tidy. This is where I use my very expensive sewing degree that I never use, is when they're doing fabric testing, they actually test with distilled water because it actually doesn't destroy the fabric and it's actually beneficial for it. So very, very nice iron. It's going to cost you about $50 to $75 for a half decent iron. This one has vertical steam, so if you don't like ironing anything, or you've got like a fabric that like melts when it gets ironed, you can actually just hold the steam button and it will like shoot steam out while you're holding it like this, and it will steam your garment. So
Nice. So it also does steaming as well as ironing.
it does steaming as well as ironing.
2 in 1.
It's a 2 in 1. Thanks for the.
Pass it along. I'm further away. I'm just gonna cover.
I'm just
myself
gonna hold this
here.
and like, let me just make it.
I
a
like how
direct
you're like
shoot.
changing it to a stream and not a myth, you bastard.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Okay. So our number one gift that if you are a cosplayer or you know a cosplayer and you're shopping around for them
And you don't know what to get.
and you don't know what to get them is
in stereo in 3, 2, 1.
Gift
cards.
I'm keeping this over here.
Yeah, I think there's a bad rap for gift cards. I think people think that they're impersonal and all that sort of stuff. Like,
I think they're the best thing ever
They
because,
are.
again, like some of these things you can get at like Home Depot, you can get it like Fabricland, you can get it at Michael's, you can do all of those places.
Amazon,
Yeah, and
eBay.
so
eBay.
getting a gift card for that, it gives them the freedom to get 1, 2, 3, however many of these items that they can find at these different places without you feeling, obligated to purchase and then them take it back because it's the wrong item. Because let's face it, we are kind of picky because we are cosplayers.
Yeah.
So we like what we
like
like,
our
and
like.
that's it.
We like our likes. Yeah.
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 So, no, it's true. So I think that gift cards are probably one of the best things that you can get. And most cosplayers, when we're shopping for like places, if you think that gift cards are impersonal, by like getting the gift card for like the right store shows that you know that person.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I can't remember his cosplay name right now. Chris Elliston. Him and his friend, they do the
Something night.
yeah,
Yeah.
NorthWind Night.
There
There you
There we
go.
go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi,
Actually, that's
Chris.
because
Hi,
his Facebook post last year that made me laugh the most was like, well, the day has finally come. See, I even remember it. The day has finally come. I just asked my mother for a Michael's gift card for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So, there you go.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. I mean, if you are a cosplayer and you do want something for a certain store, there's nothing wrong with asking. Being like, hey, I know you're asking what to get me for Christmas, just get me a gift card from this place, that would be great. Like, yeah, I think that's fantastic.
Especially because a lot of the supplies too are very expensive, and sometimes friends just can't buy what you need. So saving up gift cards is a great way to do it.
Absolutely.
And as cosplayers, we also stock our favorite stores too. So like we know when everything goes on sale. So like
Jen feels it in her bones.
I feel it in my bones. I'm like, some place is having a sale.
That's not what I feel.
She's like, I can feel Fabricland is going to have a big sale right away. Don't buy that fabric yet.
My husband knows like New Year's Day because that's usually when they
Best
have
day.
their sale. He's like, okay, I'm gonna stay at home. Here's the credit card. I've only left.
It's
so
such a
much
good
space
day,
on-
right?
Yeah.
You know that, what was it, 2 years ago, we made Harry Potter robes for Olivia's birthday. We had to make 30 of them.
Yeah.
I found her fabric for those robes $1 a meter on New Year's Day.
There you go. And wouldn't a gift card would have helped you right there. That
Right.
one
Right.
there, so.
Right?
So yeah, that's kind of our list, and we'll kind of provide links below onto
For majority of everything.
for the majority of everything that we can get out there. So hopefully we've helped you out, and hopefully we've made your families and friends' lives easier. So
Or we've shown you some really cool tools that you now need and want.
Right.
you have to have them.
Yeah.
Like the foam works and the hot wire,
Yeah.
for sure. And the
And-
scrap on the bob.
And the iron.
And the iron, yes. And the distilled water.
And the
'cause you
distilled
can never
water.
have enough
Very
distilled water.
important.
And it's not expensive, so there's that.
It's $1.99 for 4 liters. And
Perfect.
So it's awesome. So there you go. Anyways, happy cosplaying. Have a
Merry
happy-
Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Oh!
Oh!
Thanks for watching.
Make sure you like and subscribe.
And if you like what you saw here, make sure you leave a comment and let us know what you want to see in future episodes. Except for that. It's not happening. Wait, stop that.